Let the Power Hour continue as we welcome you to Phillies Post-Game Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Pitalico, I'm Michael Barkan. Back to Truist Park in just a moment. Ricky Bo, 5 home runs. Yeah. That was all they need. All they needed. 5 home runs, all the runs.
That is exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, you look at the way these guys are swinging the bats tonight. Get a little shock drill to the Atlanta Braves. I mean, the Braves are sitting there. They haven't won since who knows when. They've lost 3 to the Marlins.
They clinched.
Now they lost again to the Phillies tonight. And Schwarber, are you kidding? This dude is not human. I'm serious. I am 100% serious that this dude is not human. He hits a ball like I could hit a golf ball. He hits a baseball as far as I hit a golf ball. Think about that.
Terminator.
This guy could hit a ball a ton. And, I mean, it's just fun to watch when you have the stars kind of taking off. You have Harper taking off, Schwarber hitting balls into the moon, Castellanos homering tonight, JT getting onto that bandwagon. Got to love that.
We talk about, and you have said he should be playing every day. It looks like that'll be the case. But also, he is no liability whatsoever in the field at the plate. He's batting 300.
Yeah, I mean, he's swinging the bat well. If you expect him to swing the bat well that much, I think he should be an everyday player in the lineup. I've said it before. In the fact that you want your pitchers to have the best defense behind them. So who would you put in center field? I think it's a no-brainer. I think Johan Rojas is the guy that's got to be out there. He's the guy that is the most pure center fielder and the most pure fielder that the outfielders have. I actually love the lineup tonight. This would be my lineup tonight.
The best version of what they can
This
display.
is the best version of what they could throw out there any given day. Reason being, I mean, you're going to see Rojas gets a high fastball kind of out over the plate, and he just kind of barrels it, and that might be all he has to right field, but that was plenty to get out of the ballpark. So counted as a home run, and that's all that matters. But I like the jumps he gets in center field. I like the way he moves out there. He's very instinctual. So what I mean by that is, you don't necessarily, you could have all the speed in the world, but if you get good jumps on the baseball, you're going to be there to catch everything. You're not going to have to use your speed all the time. But what it does is having that excess speed, if there's a ball in the gap, he's going to make it look like it's a routine fly ball all the time. So if I'm pitching, he's the guy I want out there in center field.
Yep, I completely agree. Let's check back in with John Kruk, call tonight's game with Tom McCarthy. John, let's again continue with Johan Rojas. This guy's he is amazing defensively. He is prime time, and at the plate, he certainly gives you every kind of anything you would want, just about.
Yeah, I tell you what you notice about when you watch Johan Rojas play. It's how relaxed he is. And I know he's probably nervous. I mean, you should get nervous right before every game, but then after the first pitch, of course, that should go away at some point. But, I mean, from the day he got here, just watching him play center field, how he cruised for balls, caught everything so comfortably. You could just tell that he felt like he belonged here. And that's half the battle when you're a young player. You know, how long does it take you to feel like you belong? I know it took me a little over 2 years, 3 years till I felt like I could play at the big league level. It feels like it's taken him about a day and a half. That's how comfortable he looks playing baseball.
John, what is wrong with this team? They were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight, although that doesn't matter. In all honesty, this team was belting the ball over the ballpark. I mean, what makes me feel good is you're getting production from the guys you thought you would get the production from. You're getting home runs from Harper, Casti, Real Muto, Schwarber. I mean, that's how you want it every night, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just makes it more difficult for the pitcher.
John, right now, Phillies are 4 wins, 7 losses against the Braves this season. Would it mean anything significant if they were to take the next 2 games as the teams? We know they're going to the playoffs. It's a matter of whether or not they're going to take the top wild card spot. We know the Braves clinched the division. It's a matter of whether they'll have home field throughout the playoffs. They still have something to play for as well. So if the Phillies take tomorrow and Wednesday, does it say anything about the status of the teams against each other?
Well, I think it just sends a message to the Braves that, you know, look, we know how to beat you. We beat you last year in the postseason. Yes, so far in the regular season this year, you've had our number. But if they can win tomorrow and then win Wednesday, yeah, I mean, it sends a message to the Braves like, you know, you might not want us in the postseason. because we know how to play here. We know how to beat you here now. And, you know, we have confidence that because of what we did to y'all last year in the playoffs, you know, they feel, I think the Phillies feel right now that they can play with anybody.
I watched Wheeler tonight, and the one thing that really stood out to me was his fastball command first and foremost. Does this send a message to everybody in saying, I'm back now, the way he threw tonight?
Well, yeah, but his numbers here are unbelievable. 56 in a third innings pitched in this ballpark, 11 earned runs, ERA of just over 1.7. So he does know how to pitch in this ballpark. I think the thing that was more impressive to me that we didn't really do in Atlanta or in Philly when they played the Braves was when he came inside, if he missed in. You saw him, Austin Riley moved his feet, Acuna, he moved his feet, Ozuna, he moved his feet, Olsen, he moved his feet. If you just keep throwing these guys middle to middle away, they're just going to absolutely destroy you. And Zack made a conscious effort, I think, tonight, and hopefully the rest of our pitchers saw it, that, you know, if you're gonna pitch into these guys, if you're gonna miss, you better miss in. You miss over the plate, it's trouble. And I think Zack executed a perfect game plan tonight for the innings he worked.
And let's be honest, he threw a clunker last week against the Braves here, and he completely did the opposite tonight. And against Atlanta, career, since he's come to Philadelphia, 6-2, 2.32 in 13 regular games started against the Braves since signing with the Phillies in 2020. And that's not nothing, John, right?
No. Well, no, I mean, this is one of the best offenses in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. And, you know, but it tells you when Zack's on, he's one of the best pitchers in the National League too. So, you know, we got what we had hoped we would get, but we kind of got what we expect out of Zack Wheeler from here on out is a well-executed game plan and, you know, pitching inside. You got to do it to these guys.
Yep, and they did. All right, John, thank you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Right. Looking forward to it. John Kruk in the booth at Truist Park. And here's the wild card standings. And as we look at them, know that the Phillies are 3-2 at Atlanta this year. How about that? They're 1-5 against Atlanta here, but they're 3-2 there. And they are 3.5 games up on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Well, that's good, because when we play them, we're you know, it's going to be, they're going to be the home field advantage.
Exactly
so we'll have
right. Exactly right, Ricky Poe. 3.5 over Arizona. Arizona idle tonight. They're the Cubs and Reds tie for the last wild card spot, and the Marlins
that's a
half
virtual
a game
4.
Back.
That's a virtual 4 because they have the tiebreaker against Arizona.
Mm-hmm. So when you
Always
look at
nice
this,
to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. When you look at this setup, the Phillies are calling their own shots right now.
Phillies are calling. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, you have 2 more games against a good team. I mean, that's it. That's what you're looking at right now. You have 2 games sitting here against Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't seem very involved in any of these games. They just lost 3 to the Marlins, and they got destroyed in that series. And all of a sudden, they go back home and they lose again to the Phillies. They have 2 more against the Phillies. You might as well just kick dirt in their face while you're down there. That's the way I look at this. If you got your shot to beat them up a little bit, take your chances. Because I'm going to tell you this much. If a team gets too much buried in just kind of being complacent and kind of finishing out the season, they will play the playoffs like that.
Yeah, and you got to say this about
How many times have you seen this happen?
Many
a really
times.
Good team that becomes a little complacent towards the end of the season can't seem to flip that switch back on.
Well, it happened twice.
It's going to end up with them. Watch.
Yeah, happened twice last postseason to the Phillies' benefit as they went to the World Series.
Well, sometimes it's fine that you play it all the way out to the end because you have those juices, the adrenaline's flowing every single night. And when you get to the end, you're like, oh, well, it's just an extension of where we were. I think Philly had some bad circumstances last year, if you remember. I believe 17 straight days on the road, if I'm not wrong, 10 last season. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not going to be that way this year because we're getting at least the first 3 at Citizens Bank Park if we need them.
We got Rob Thomson coming up, but talk a little bit about how this team, in your words, they are never complacent. They can lose 2 or 3 or 4 straight, and the Braves have now lost 4 straight for the 3rd time this season.
Yeah, that to me is something about this Phillies team is that they never take anything for granted. They could get their butts whooped one night and come back the next afternoon, and it's like it never happened. And that's something that's not easy to do. That's something I actually had to be taught to do because I didn't like losing. I hated losing, as a matter of fact. I don't know if they take losing like it used to be. You lose a game, I was upset. I was physically, mentally upset. You don't see that anymore. It's just not like that anymore. That's not the way they go about business. They are comfortable enough where they could say, okay, tomorrow's another day. I never felt that way. I always felt like I had to perform that day or else they don't send guys up and down like they used to. Like back in the day when I played, if you didn't pitch well for a couple games, bye-bye, right. See you later. Now it's like you could have 20 bad games in a row and we could fix them. I wish I had that leeway.
That's why he was an all-star.
Wish I had that leeway.
In competitiveness. And he leads off the ball game with a walk. The guy gets on base.
He gets on base.
Actually, he doesn't get on base when he hits a home run. He just touches them and then goes back to the dugout. But he walked, too. His on-base percentage is about 350.
He'll walk, he'll strike out, but he's going to give you something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be numbers in there all the time.
Here's his manager, Rob Thomson, in Atlanta.
The lineup of this caliber, like just keeping the runs down?
It's difficult, that's a tough lineup to navigate around, and there's many soft outs in there. I mean, their 9-hole hitter's really good hitter. He's got power. So when you can keep these guys to one run, your pitching staff's doing a great job.
Your 9-hole hitter, obviously his defense is fantastic. Do you look at whatever he does at the plate as a bonus, or how do you see that?
Well, yeah, kind of, but his at-bats are really growing on me, He's done well. But maybe the worst at-bat he's had is the one against Lucas Luque, his last at-bat, and because he chased a couple breaking balls soft. But he's had great at-bats. I'm really proud of him. I'm really happy for him.
For as many home runs as you've seen, does Schwarber's power sometimes amaze you? Like
just
how he...
You look at the Darvish home run last year, the home run he hit off Darvish in the playoffs. That was, sometimes it's just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Similar reaction to this one. It was only 5 feet shorter than that one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And did it go out of the stadium?
Went over the chop house.
Yeah.
It's
he's pretty impressive.
7 hits for the Phillies. Turner had 2, and one of them was that right down the line, right? The dribbler.
That's 3 times he has nubbed the ball in the last 2 days, and he's got 3 hits. Tell me things aren't going well for him.
Pretty good.
That's
since
right.
August 4th, and the standing ovations here at Citizens Bank Park. Let's go into the clubhouse one more time, and here is Zack Wheeler on his start.
It's different for you this time around as it was the last start against them?
Had a better fastball, more true. Command was a little better, and didn't make as many mistakes.
You feel like you're able to live a little up in the zone against them with the fastball?
Yeah, it was playing up today. Just I don't know, you got to mix it up against those guys. So just moving it all around, and I saw that they were kind of chasing early, so we should stay with that.
It seemed like you really locked in after that solo home run. Did you make an adjustment or change anything, or was it?
No, I just pulled that outside fastball back over the plate a little bit, and he maybe paid for it, but felt good tonight, so just kind of locked it back in and just went from there.
You've had a lot of success against this team, but just coming off the last outing, do you ever feel like you need one like this?
It's a good team, so we want to do well, especially after last outing. So it's a quick turnaround, facing back-to-back. That's always tough because you don't try to second-guess yourself or change things up too much. So stay with the game plan, and JT called a nice game, and Caleb did well with the game plan. So it's worked out today.
And how about the bats tonight?
Yeah, they speak for themselves. A lot of home runs, a lot of hard hit balls. It's always nice as a pitcher to just get that cushion and just continue to pitch off of that.
What's it mean for 200 strikeouts?
It's a goal every year. 200 innings, 200 strikeouts. It's nice. I think it's only the second time I've done it, so it's kind of satisfying.
Schwarber's power ever amaze you? As a guy who sees a ton of home runs, good and bad.
Yeah. He's pretty consistent with it, obviously, and It's not just cheap shots. Usually, it's pretty long balls. So, yeah, I mean that one went on top of the chop house. I think didn't see it, but heard about it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Does this start like leave a good feeling for you, knowing that next time you might face it might be the NLDS? Does it matter? Does it?
Yeah, I mean you want to kind of after last outing, you kind of want to show them, hey, you still got to deal with me type thing. So, mental aspect and for the game for them and me, just getting back on track so they know that I'm still me, I guess you could say.